All right, let's go ahead and continue. All right, so next section, let's go ahead and back it up. Reset. And we're taking a look at the, so the previous section was we're looking at the Queen's Gambit declined. First was the Tarrasch variation. And then after that was the Note Boom variation, which had different names. Abraham's, Note Boom or Abraham's variation. And now we're going to look at the Knight F6, Bishop E7 line. Okay, so Queen's Gambit declined. So D4, D5, C4, E6, Knight to C3. And then it says Knight to F6. This simple and natural development move already constituted the main line of the Queen's Gambit declined as far back as the 19th century, and this situation has never really changed. A subtle modern variation on it is Bishop to E7. Okay. So looking at it, it looks like Knight F6, most popular, C6, and then Bishop E7. Oh, they call it the Queen's Gambit declined, the Charousek variation. Okay. So why is this a subtle modern variation on it? This move is intended to limit the opponent's options. If white continues with 4 Knight F3, then black will simply play Knight F6 and return to the main lines. By preventing Bishop G5, if only for one move, black hopes to take the sting out of the exchange variation. It is precisely here, however, that the critical test for a Bishop E7 lies. For white can return the favor by playing C captures D5. So instead of Knight F3, white can play in response C takes D5, E takes D5, Bishop F4. Because black has already put his bishop on E7, the natural reply, bishop to D6, is now slightly less attractive, though it is still not bad. And it's actually played quite often. The Bishop D6 line, well, according to the database, there's only 2 games of it. And both, it looks like 50% draw and 50% black. Interesting. Which means that black is also limited in his choices. He'll want to develop his queen's bishop to F5. But first, C6, E3, Bishop F5, and then G4. Most popular move here, yeah. G4. And secondly, instead of C6, Knight to F6, E3, Bishop to F5, Queen to B3, need to be properly evaluated. Yeah, what's double attack here in B7? Be Knight to C6. And then after Queen takes pawn, I see Knight to B4. Okay. These arms are pretty sharp. but the amount of theory involved is moderate compared to the regular exchange variation. We now return to 3 knight f6. Okay, interesting. Three main lines have developed from this position. The oldest and most straightforward one is bishop g5. And they call that the modern variation, chess.com, the modern variation. Then there's the flexible knight f3, which is called the three knights variation. And finally we have c takes d5, the exchange variation.